Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Liza, and in this channel we share faith-based principles and how you can apply them to your daily life. I also share career and personal growth tips. Let's talk money today. Do you know that 1 in 4 Americans don't have any form of emergency savings, and 44% of Americans cannot boast of $1,000 in their emergency savings? I'm also going to be speaking from the lens of my own experiences and sharing some tips that have actually helped me to build an emergency savings fund. Simply put, an emergency savings fund is really that fund you put aside in case of emergencies. So for example, if someone's tires bust, or you have like a hospital emergency that you have to quickly attend to, or someone calls you up, maybe a family, a close friend, saying that, oh, can you help me out, there's really an emergency here, just ensuring that you have something set aside to support in those cases, right? It's very important that we are at least diligent enough to start putting together an emergency fund, especially if you're financially able to. I also recognize that people's financial circumstances are totally different. So I can't really say it has to be this particular amount, or it has to be, you have to save for a particular time frame. I know that the recommended time frame for you to save up for is like 3 months of living expenses, or 6 months, 3 to 6 months basically of living expenses. Some people even decide to go beyond that. But it's actually important that if you're able to save up something every single month, you create systems that help you do that. So let's get right into some tips that can help you get started today. So the first point is assess your financial condition. And this is very important because it helps you to really get back practical, where you go to your bank statement and say, you know what do I actually spend on groceries every month? How much is my rent? Really itemizing those main key things that you spend on every month would help you, look at your finances and say, is this a situation, am I in a situation where I'm able to save every month? Because the truth is that some people are actually not in that situation right now. So once you're able to do that, you itemize your rent, your groceries, and just calculate every single thing that you spend in a month. You then be able to figure out, okay, how much would I need to save for my basic needs for the next 3 months, right? How much would I typically spend in 1 month, and then multiply that by either 3 or by 6, depending on where you want to start. And I must really add, doing this shouldn't just be something you do once. It's very important that we actually have that accountability system that reminds us to keep checking our expenses, to keep checking our finances in general. And this really involves being very intentional, like setting that reminder on your calendar that says, review my finances weekly until the end of the year, so that you have some form of accountability. You'll see that once you start putting that structure in place to remind you to check your finances, you start building that muscle, and hopefully it leads you to be financially smart with your money. The second point is set a realistic goal. I'm not saying you have to join your friend who has been working, or who currently works in a place where they earn $1 million or $500,000. Don't compare yourself with anybody at all. Just eliminate all forms of comparison. That's why it's very important for you to first assess what your financial situation is, and secondly, set a very realistic goal. And I always say start small. For me personally, I wanted to start with $500, especially as a student, and then I went up to $1,000. I worked my way up, and at some point I'm going to share even more about actively creating that emergency fund based on a specific amount, maybe how to start with your $1,000 savings. But what this really does for you is it helps you to be true to yourself and not compare yourself with any other person. Setting that realistic goal. And once you're able to achieve that goal of that you set for yourself, let's say $500, right? You then build momentum from there. You'll be like, okay, I was able to save $500. So let's move on to the next phase, maybe $1,000, and then you move up from there. And I would really say one thing that's also helped me is setting some form of accountability. So beyond setting the systems, which serve as reminders, also ensuring that you have people around you that actually talk about financial stuff. It's very important because a lot of me, I didn't grow up in the kind of household that always talked about money from the lens of teaching you how to use money. So there are a lot of things I had to unlearn, and I'm still unlearning about finances in general. And as I learn, I apply, and I'm building momentum from there. So definitely ensure that you set a realistic goal for yourself. So the third point is create a savings account. This is a savings account that is definitely different from your regular checking account. And the reason why you should do this for your emergency fund is so that you don't get tempted, because those temptations will come. You don't use the money for non-emergencies, all right? Remember, this particular account is set up for emergency funds, right? So I would even recommend that you look for high yield savings account. I currently use Marcus by Goldman Sachs because they have some good, I believe the last time I checked was maybe 4.5%, right? I believe so. But I'm going to leave the link in the description in case you're interested. That's my special link. So remember, I get some cut when you sign up. But anyways, I definitely recommend Marcus by Goldman Sachs because it's just an easy interface to use. And in that platform, you can also create sub savings accounts, other savings accounts, and you'll be able to view it. I think you can also create like a certificate of deposit if you decide to go that route. It's a very solid one and has worked for me since I started. The next point I will share is automate your savings. I remember when I was in Nigeria, I was actually using piggy bank. Now they're called piggy vest. That was literally the way I was saving my money. So every single month or anytime I get some form of income, I will just ensure that I put some out for specific reasons or even for general savings. Listen, things are going to come up, you're going to forget, right? So it's very important that you set this part of setting systems up, right? You set those systems to automatically take out a certain percentage or amount of money every single month, every single week, every single day, depending on what your goal is, what your plan is, to put into your savings account. If you have an employer, there's always a HR system where you can say, you know what, I want 50% to come to my personal check-in. I want 20% to go to this particular account for my emergency fund. I want X other percent to go towards another account. So you can definitely set it up in that way. If you haven't done it already, do it now. Honestly, like just really do it now, because those are the kind of systems that would help keep you accountable so that, you know, even for me personally, sometimes I don't even check my emergency fund. I just focus on my checking account, and maybe I would remember, oh, I actually have an emergency fund, and check it much later just to ensure that I'm keeping track of what is the inflow that is coming in. So definitely automate your savings. There are a lot of platforms these days, financial platforms that help you automate it. So the fifth point is cut unnecessary expenses. Yes, I said it. And this is something that I even had to do recently when reviewing my finances again. I'm like, you know what? I can't believe I actually spent XYZ on this, you know. Just getting to that point where you're like, reviewing what you spend money on, and if you feel like you don't really need to spend money on, let's say, Grubhub or that coffee that you buy every single day, please just move the money to emergency fund, because it is really consistency that matters in this case. Don't feel like, oh, you have to wait until you have 100 billion, million, $1 trillion before you start saving. No, it's that habit and discipline that you cultivate every single day that then compounds over time. The next point I'll be sharing today is prioritize consistency over speed. Yes, This is actually very important because it helps you to stay disciplined and prioritize, regular contributions, even if it means starting small. See, I don't care if you're saving $1 a day or $1 a week, do it. Build that muscle, that system of consistency, and you see, in fact, you even be proud of yourself because you look back over time and be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I saved up $10 in the past 10 days, saving $1 every month. And a good number of times, especially if you're watching this and you actually earn some good money, please, that consistency makes a lot of difference. Don't overwhelm yourself. Definitely focus on consistency over. Then the next point I'll share here is celebrate milestones. Oh my goodness. Like the first time I saved a certain amount of money, I was like, oh wow, so I can actually do this. And it was really encouragement for me to even push beyond that, to say, you know what, I want to start even saving in a different account, maybe for investment, to be going in every single week, depending on how you structure yours. Some people structure theirs every day to go into their investments. So it even gave me more motivation to say, you know what, I've been able to achieve my first $1,000, my first $10,000, and I then want to move on to the next savings goal or the next financial goal. Then the next final point I'll be sharing here is keep it accessible, right? So really choosing a savings account that you can easily access. I know there are some systems in place that I've heard of where people are not able to take out their money unless you lock it in, where like there was a particular CD I did, even though CDs these days, like the money you're giving me is not really making sense. But anyways, I tried that with CDs in the past and I literally couldn't touch the money, and there are penalties for when you deduct from that money. So ensuring that you keep it accessible. Remember, this is actually an emergency fund, so in case emergencies come in, you're able to access your money and use it for the purpose. And the final point I would actually make here is initiate conversations in your circle. If you are in a circle where people don't really talk about money, like money it's important that we have these conversations. What are you investing in these days? Sometimes I actually ask my friends. Sometimes I'll be like, Martins, what's the stock market saying? And you'll be like, Nvidia is really looking good. Or Timmy, big T, like I call him, be like, Liza, Tesla. See, I'm not giving financial advice, okay? I am not giving this is not financial advice. I'm just saying, right? These are all based on my own personal experiences. Remember this, building an emergency fund is not just about saving money for the sake of it. It's actually securing your financial future, because you know that if you're able to diligently save towards an emergency, save towards something, you won't be under financial stress. It's not going to affect your mental health, and you'll be able to support, in different areas of your life, and even support, your family as needed. If you found this video helpful, please share it with somebody today. Share it with your friend that is in your circle. Start having these conversations. Send it to them. Tell them, I think we need to start having conversations about money. Schedule that call. Have that conversation, okay? But this is just my way of saying, share this video, like, comment. Let me know what practices you've put in place or what you're going to take out from this video about emergency savings. All right, I'm going to see you in my next video. I really encourage you right now to watch this video right here on micro habits that help me improve my life. All right, I'll see you. All right, guys.